Welcome to the Barn Chats With. Today we are joined by event rider Alicia Hawker, British event rider who has a lovely string of horses at a variety of levels, from youngsters up to 5-star, and some very exciting prospects. Alicia is one of very few selected to be on the Windrush Equestrian Foundation, a charity supported by 2TheBarn, which offers fantastic support for young professional event riders, focusing not only on their riding and training, but also their own physical performance and building themselves as a brand. Hi, Alicia. Thanks so much for joining. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Good. Have you had a busy week?
Yes, fairly busy. We were at Wellington eventing, so for 4 days. So yeah, and then ready for the next one.
So always busy. And how did you get on at Wellington?
Yeah, they were good. One of the horses finished on his dressage score in the 2-star, and then we had some babies running in the 100 and novice who were good.
Great, good stuff. So we'll start a little bit with you just telling us a bit about yourself. So how old are you and whereabouts are you based?
I am 25 and I'm based near Badminton, sort of between Malmesbury and Chippenham. Our closest event's at Badminton. So,
Good local event to have.
Local event, yeah.
You've grown up going and watching badminton from a young age?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Every year we go and, it was, all the locals go and we, have a good time.
Good stuff. So how did you get into eventing? Are you horsey, like are your parents horsey? Have you been brought up around horses? Or maybe so Connie was saying how actually she just went to a party when she was 4 years old and rode a horse, and then that was that.
Yeah, no, I grew up I still do live on the family farm. Lots of dairy cows, never went on holiday, so always had a pony knocking around on the farm. So yeah, my granddad used to do a bit of breeding and racing as a permit holder, and my parents, like my mum, would help ride out the race horses a little bit, but never had competed before. So yeah, I just started with a little bit of pony club on some naughty ponies, and then then we were all away.
So why the choice in eventing? Did you ever think about going down the racing route?
No, never really considered the racing route, really. I enjoy the jumping too much, really. So yeah, when I started out by doing a lot of dressage and show jumping till I was about 12, because I never had a pony that would do cross country. They were quite naughty. So when I was 12, my mum bought a 3-year-old that sort of got semi-rescued, and she turned out to be a real sweetie and did pony trials. So that sort of got us going with BE, really.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So you say you're based at home. Can you tell us a little bit about your team and your sponsors?
Yes, so we're based at home in Hillavington on the farm. We have a yard of 16 stables. At the minute we've got 16 horses in, so we're quite full. I have my head groom, Lewis. He's really great. He's been with us for about 3 years now. He previously has groomed at 5-star level 2, so he's really good knowledge base. I have a working pupil, Shah, at the minute. She's been with us since sort of lockdown, sort of just before lockdown, really. Lives with us here. And then I have my mum and her couple of friends help out a little bit. And then I'm very lucky, my sort of main sponsor is Sue Carson Saddles, who I've been riding in the saddles for, I think, 12 years now, something like that. So we're really lucky to have Sue on board. And we've got Mark Todd Collection and Gatehouse hats.
Cool. So we'll talk a bit about competing. So to you, what is the best part of competing?
The cross country. That's the best bit. Yeah.
Nothing that comes close to that adrenaline rush kind of feeling.
Yeah, 100%. You just got to get through the dressage and show jumping to be able to go cross country. But no, obviously the competition. Yeah, I love competing, but my favourite bit is definitely cross country.
Good stuff. What tips do you have to ensure that you and your horse perform to your best on the day?
I'd say preparation, like have a plan, really. I'm fairly laid back, but one thing we are is on time. Everything within our control. If the lorry breaks down, there's nothing you can do about it. But, the day before, I just work out all the timings so everybody's clear on what's going on, so everything can run nice and smoothly.
Very organised.
Yeah, try to be.
Riders more live life and have to be told where they should be when. So, so how do you prepare for a big competition? Is it different to how you would a smaller competition, or if you've got a 4-star or 5-star in the weeks leading up to it? How would you prepare?
Yeah, definitely. Like when we were getting Charly, my top horse, ready for Badminton and Burghley, sort of about really 2 months before, I'd get quite a fairly detailed plan together. Obviously, it's horses, things change, but I'd say I will work out when he's galloped, working back from the event, and where his shoes, having the farrier all fits in, so the shoes are good for each prep event, and just things like that. So yeah, sort of work backwards and have a plan. And yeah, I go on a little bit of a diet, so yeah, make sure because we focus on the horses, but yeah, I try to do a little bit for me as well. But yeah, sort of literally just work back from the event about 2 months before, and yeah, have a plan.
Okay, and so I'm actually just personally really interested in this. How close to, say, Burghley or Badminton would you get your horse shod?
I would. So my horse, for him, he has fairly good feet. He doesn't need anything too special being done. So I'd have him shod sort of 10 to 14 days before Badminton.
Okay.
So fairly new, but if anything needs adjusting, we've got time.
Perfect. Cool. I've never even really thought of that side of things. So what is your favourite event and why?
Oh, it's a tricky. I think probably Badminton, just because it's just so local. It's always been sort of the one I've wanted to do. But I've loved events like Bramham and Chatsworth. They're just amazing locations. But yeah, there's so many British events. We're really lucky. There's so many, even the smaller events. I love going to Monmouth each year, and I love going down to Bicton. Even though they're the slightly smaller ones, they're so fun to ride. And Dauntsea is that's really local to us too. So yeah, we're lucky.
Settings, and
yeah,
when before COVID, when it's quite nice, you've got crowds there, and it's quite a spectacle, the whole thing. You say even at some of the smaller ones, it's still quite nice like that.
Yeah.
What stands out as your career highlight so far?
I think probably last year completing Badminton and Burghley, and I won the under 25 at both of them, and we were 16th in our first Burghley. So I think probably that's awesome.
That's a pretty good highlight to have at 25. Cool. So we'll just go on to a bit about starting out. So what challenges have you overcome to get to where you are today, and who are the people that have helped you?
I'd say having a really good support network. I've been really lucky. My parents have been really supportive, and just they're just good. You can just talk through things. I'd say one of the main challenges is coming from a family that doesn't I wasn't particularly eventing orientated, or no real contacts in the eventing world. Starting to get on your feet with owners and clients and horses coming in. It isn't that easy, but I think the main thing is just building relationships, because something you build on 1 year, 2 years down the line, someone comes back. That's what I'd say is the main. Definitely just keep building relationships with people. And you slowly get there.
That's the side of your job that so few people see, and it's such meeting new owners, getting new horses, and building these relationships. And it's it's a big part of your job, and it's quite daunting as well. As a young rider, you approach these people and you're like, "Hi, I would like you to have a horse with me. This is what I can do," and you've got to really back yourself, because all of a sudden you get to seniors have and it's this huge vast group of amazing riders, and people it's an odd sport where you can grow up and idolize a rider, and then all of a sudden you're a senior and you're riding against them. It's the oddest thing.
Yeah,
So, yeah, no, like, I hadn't actually thought about that. Is a real challenge. I mean, everyone must find. So, yeah, what advice do you have for people wanting to make a career out of their riding?
I think it's just you've just kind of got to go for it. Take every opportunity you've got. Like, we all have different things. Where if something falls into place, you've kind of got to just say yes to everything at the start, and just it means you go crazy busy and have to work really hard, but you just then find that balance and pretty much say yes to everything.
That's good advice. Okay, so we'll talk a bit about motivation. What drives you to get up in the morning and go training every day?
I think there's a couple of things really. Like the dream of 5-star, like just wanting to be. I love doing all the young horses as well. But what I really love is bringing them through and like to get one to Badminton or Burghley. That's the big dream. And also I like horses. It's nice to go in, you can go in yourself, I like going and seeing them in the morning, and you give them a cuddle and then start on.
A bad job. Yeah, your commute to the stables to go and see them, and you don't have to be sat on the tube with anyone else. How does being an athlete make you a better person?
I think probably like I find, everything in normal life, you just got to go with it. Like you can't control everything. So I think it sort of slightly chills you out. I don't know. Maybe that's what I find. Like, nothing's too much of a big drama. You can't get too stressed about things because, you could be worse.
Absolutely. After a tough day, what do you say to yourself?
Well, usually I think it's okay to give yourself a moment to be like, oh no, that was awful.
Yeah.
And I think that is important. Like if you just blank it out straight away, I think it's okay to be upset about it, and you kind of can have a moment where you're like, oh my God. And then you start to make a plan in your head. Once you've realised that you get over the initial disappointment, you can then say, okay, what really went wrong? And you think rationally about it, and you just sort of give yourself a kick up the bum and say, right, this, let's go.
Use it as a learning curve. And
absolutely.
What's been your biggest lesson so far in life?
I think really you just got to, when things go wrong, you do just have to keep going. Like, I think the one really good thing someone said to me is, like 2 years ago, you dreamt of where you are now. So even though you sort of feel like you haven't made progress, like when you look back, you definitely have. And you just, keep plugging away because, 5 years ago, you weren't where you are now.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. It's good to look back and see where you've come, and I think if you stop, that's as far as you're going to go. You keep going, and talents and like limitless. You just keep going for it.
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll talk a little bit about the current climate. Obviously, the 2020 event season wasn't what we had planned in February. It's not exactly how we thought it would pan out, but we are so lucky to be back competing and have had a couple of months of competition, especially some internationals, because I know in May, everyone we didn't know if we were going to have anything.
Yeah.
So it's been, eye-opening to say the least. What did you do with your horses during lockdown?
So I decided actually just to keep them ticking over. Instead of riding 6 days a week, we rode 5, so they didn't get too fit. And we just brought their galloping work. They went for a canter in the field for fun, not to get fit. And then I just did loads of we played with skinnies, we played with I did some lunging exercises. Some days, I chatted to Pip, who's our mentor on the Windrush, and she said, right, go around, spend 20 minutes in walk, and that's your session. And, can you move them off your left leg? Can you move them off your right leg? And just because, they didn't have to work hard that day. I could see, right, are they moving equally off both my legs? Are they really straight? And just sort of stripped it back to basics, I guess. Keep it interesting for the horses so they can do other things as well. But yeah, I felt like it wasn't the time to turn them all out. They none of them really needed a holiday. So actually just keeping things ticking over. They're not working hard.
Yeah.
But you can sort of address all the basics and work on those things you never usually get that much, not enough time. Something that might take 3 weeks in the season because they're competing one weekend, they're doing something else. Well, you can address that problem for a whole week in lockdown and do nothing else but that.
Absolutely. And like I say, just stripping it back to basics and just working on having the time for once to work on those really simple things that make such a difference.
Yeah, definitely.
And how have you found eventing under the new restrictions?
Yeah, no, I have to say it's been good. Like, everything's really well organised. They've done a really good job. Everyone feels very safe. You don't have to get too close to anyone eventing if you don't want to.
Yeah.
We are in the middle of a field. So, and events have been really good with the, you come out the ring that way, you don't pass people, everyone wears gloves to do the poles. So, and it has actually run on time. There's no waits in the collecting rings now, which is it's usually at some point. And we're all guilty of we're near the end, like we could go a bit earlier, and it just creates a big queue really, and you don't get that now. Which hopefully it's actually been quite good, and also doing your numbers and the start fee at home, you don't have that mad dash to the secretary's tent to go and get your number.
Yeah.
It's all there. So there's definitely some things that hopefully have like improved stuff and brought it on, and the live scoring has been really good because you can literally like owners and things, you can just look on your phone. You don't have to again traipse over to the tent to look at your score.
It's amazing, isn't it? I've literally been like watching, and when I know India's at a show, I'll like watch and then I'll give her a call afterwards. It's so good. Cool. So talk a little bit about your stable. So you said you got 16 in. That's a huge amount of horses. So we won't go through like everyone, but if you can tell us a bit about, you said Charly, your top horse, and then maybe some of your youngsters. I know you're not supposed to have favourites, but maybe you've got a favourite or two.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my top horse, Charly. He's 13 now this year. We got him as a 5-year-old. He hadn't evented. So he was a little bit unruly to start with. He was quite naughty. We always knew he was very talented, but it took us 6 months to get him into water.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he's not scared. He's just naughty.
Okay.
Just doesn't like to be told what to do. So he's sort of come through the ranks, and I've been really lucky to go to lots of great events with him. He was third at Bramham in the under 25s, and then he's gone on to do 4 5-stars so far.
Amazing.
Yeah, he's done Poe and Badminton a couple of times and Burghley. So yeah, he's a cross country machine. He's absolutely mega. There's like the big course at Burghley and Badminton just suit him down to the ground because he's sort of, otherwise he drags me around the smaller ones because he knows best. Well, yeah, he just thrives. He absolutely loves going to a big competition. He likes all the attention, and he literally, if there's a horse that lives for cross country, that is Charly.
Cool.
So yeah, and we have a whole range of horses at the minute. I've got a nice 5-year-old who I think a lot of. She's called Hazy Dream. She's just started her eventing career. Literally, she's done her first 3 B100s, and she's been great. She's finished on a dressage score every time. So she's a little bit like she reminds me of Charly. She's a little bit feisty, I think that's good. They can't just, I think if they're going to jump a big course in the future, they can't be listening to you the whole time. They've got to give you an opinion. It's good. So yes, she's nice. I'm hoping that it would be exciting to see what she does in the future. And yeah, I have a couple of my old horse, Nonky, that was my first horse. I was lucky to have him when I was about 15, and he's sort of he was meant to be just a horse like to do a few novices on, and he went on, and we've done 110 starts. He's done about 63 stars.
Oh my God, wow.
Yeah, so he's been a little star. So he's sort of now in semi-retirement. He did his last 3-star at the end of last year at Gatcombe. And he's now doing a few B90s and 100s with Shah, my working pupil, and I think my birthday present is doing a B100 on him. So he's going to do one. And I have a young horse who I bought who very much is like a carbon copy of Nonks, in sort of a little round ginger, cheeky. So I do, those two are, they're funny little characters. They're very cheeky, but yeah, all the horses, they're all so kind. So yeah.
Oh, sweet. Sounds like you've got a really exciting stable, and just great to have all levels, kind of keeping you on your toes at all levels. Love that you have a horse that took 6 months to get into water and now jumps into the Badminton lake.
Yeah. No, just it wasn't water. It's just a good argument to have. He just isn't being told what to do.
Cool. So can you just explain a little bit about Windrush? Obviously, it's just the most fantastic foundation, and supports you in like a 360-degree kind of way as an athlete, not only with your riding training and having Pippa Funnell, like, on the end of the phone. I've spoken to so many of you guys who said, in lockdown, I gave her a call and she helped me with this and helped me with that, which is just unbelievable. And also you do some Pilates, focusing on you guys as athletes. And also you have Alice Fox-Pitt and Emily Mumford as well, kind of talking about yourself and building yourself as a brand and social media and interviewing techniques and everything. Can you just tell us a bit about that and what you've done with them?
Yeah, no, the Windrush program, we're really lucky to have it. And, like you say, it's not just riding. We're really lucky to have Pip helping us, but, the whole side of like running the business side, the accountancy side, that kind of like, we've all started eventing because we ride, and then all of a sudden you've got a business dropped on you and you're like, oh my goodness, I was never taught to run a business. So, it's that side of things. And Alice has been great. She's helped us do a bit of interviewing, and just helped us get, confident. Emily's been great. She keeps giving us a kick up the bum to do our social media and, communicate. And it's things you sort of slightly know you should do, but you're not always that sure on if you're doing it right. Well, you've just got someone to be like, does this sound all right? Is this okay? Like, and they go yes or no, do something a little bit different. And also with the Pilates side of things, Julie's been great. She's keeps us in check. Keeps making us do it.
Some Zoom Pilates over lockdown.
Yeah, there was all of us on the living room floor. Yeah.
It sounds like amazing foundation. And obviously you guys have another year for next year, with the still being a bit of a hiccup. So that's awesome. That's one good thing to come out of this 2020 hell.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's really good, because I think we can now like consolidate what we've learned, and because a year goes past so quickly. The 2 seasons, like Pip's got to know us and the horses a bit more, so we can like continue what we've been working on basically.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got one fan question. How old were you when you started taking riding seriously and thought, right, I can do this as a career?
I'd probably say like I'd always, all through sort of like secondary school, so when I was sort of like 13, 14, I always absolutely loved it. And I was always like, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. I sort of just stuck at it. And I've been lucky that my parents, they were, they've said, go on, like give it a go basically. And they've been up for it. Because I think it's difficult. They never put any pressure, other than I did my sixth form, I did my A levels. And then I had a couple of gap years where I did horses and like worked and stuff, and I sort of decided that I'd go to uni locally where I could go back and forth and get my degree. And there was, they never put any pressure. I never had to do that. It was my decision as a backup plan to have that. That's what I think, always have like a bit of a plan B.
What did you do at uni?
I did sports performance at Bath.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, no, it was good because it sort of tied in. It was sort of, a lot of it was around like elite sport and like the human side. It wasn't horse related at all, which I quite enjoyed. It just added a different like side of it. And yeah, it gives me options that hopefully nothing will ever happen. I hope that I will be doing horses for a very long time, but it just gives me an option that if I have an injury or whatever, like, I'm not tied into just this. I've got something else I can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Very wise. So to finish off, we've literally just got a few quick fire questions. So what's one word that you would use to describe yourself?
Oh God, I don't know. Some laid back. I don't know. Quite often I'm the one that's forgot something usually.
Who inspired you as a young athlete? Doesn't have to be like someone that was in the equestrian world.
Okay, I think probably was really the sort of equestrian side of things. Like to be honest, my first memory of badminton was watching Pip win the Grand Slam, and Andrew just want to ride like him.
It's unbelievable to watch in this country. It's just
doesn't move.
Best piece of advice that you've been given?
Probably going back to the remember where you were 2 years ago, and keep plugging away.
What is a strength of yours?
I'd say I'm quite focused. I'm fairly relaxed at a competition. Sometimes I quite like a bit of pressure.
And a weakness?
Oh, I forget things. Yeah, I'm usually like, where's my gloves? Where's my whip? I can't find it.
You forget tests, or you're fine with tests?
No, I'm okay with tests, luckily. I'm okay with tests. It's
just ingrained on your brain.
Yeah. I try and do too many things in one go and then just forget all of them.
Who is your sporting hero?
I'd say probably Pip.
That's sweet.
He is, yeah.
She's probably watching.
I know. Thought I better get some brownie points.
Yeah.
She I just from winning the Grand Slam, and then she had a few quieter years, and then to get back to the top, I always think that's impressive, really.
Yeah, incredible. What did you have for breakfast today?
A Marmite bagel.
Oh, good shout.
Yeah, every day.
Your favourite film?
Pulp Fiction.
And your favourite meal?
Sausage and mash.
Oh, good shout. With gravy?
Yeah, 100%.
Cool. Well, thank you so much. It was really, really great to chat to you. I really hope to actually come and meet you soon. Hopefully we'll be able to come to some events. Media will be allowed back to some events. And yeah, we'll be following you for the rest of the season. And it's great to chat to all of you Windrush guys. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah, cheers. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.